What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Adam once again for hashtag homeless day 55. Day 55. Yep. Gonna switch over to the notes here and oh man, got a good night's sleep last night. Got a lot of comments. Congratulations on the new room. It was better. It is a better situation, I'm not gonna lie. Why would I complain about getting an upgrade? I won't. It's definitely not, it's still definitely not the ideal. I need to get out of there. I need to get a place of my own. But they're definitely, I got to talk to some people last night before I went up there, and yeah, it's pretty chill, man. I can take my phone up there. I can take my laptop. There's a little desk that I put in the room. I set it up, to be a decent space. I don't plan on being in it a lot, but they're not going to force me to lay down and go to sleep at 11 o'clock when it's Betty Bye time. So that right there, now last night I fell right asleep. I was ready to pass out. By the time 11 o'clock came, I was done. I had a long day yesterday, and so I had no problem falling asleep. Plus just the tranquility of, I realized last night as I'm laying there, they have a door. The bedroom has a door you can shut. And I came to the realization that this is the first time I've gone to sleep in a room with a door I can shut and just go to sleep since August of 2022. It's been almost 2 years since I've had a room, like a room to sleep in. That was really nice. Wow. Like I slept really well just for that reason alone. And yeah, I feel pretty refreshed this morning. I don't have I mean, yeah, a little bit of drama at the homeless shelter this morning. Nothing worth talking about. It is what it is. Yeah, so let's see what happened yesterday. Well, I spent, pretty much decided I wanted to get the storefront done for the YouTube product line here, whatever we call it. And this fourth wall platform that I'm using, buggy. I mean, it's not buggy in terms of insecure. Buggy in terms of features and the user experience for setting a store up. It's definitely not geared for photographers. And, there's nothing wrong with that. It's geared more towards people who sell merchandise, t-shirts, mugs, custom branded apparel and garb, that kind of stuff. So when you're a photographer selling a photograph that has, on some of my photographs, I have up to 38 different options in terms of not only the size that you can choose, but the type of print. You can get a print on photographic paper, or you can get a print on sheet metal. Pretty thick, solid piece of metal that comes ready to hang. It's got a white coating before they print the photograph, and then they print the photograph on top of that. And then I think there might be a clear coat layer, but if not, it's archival quality. It's good stuff. They're not cheap, but they come ready to hang in lots of sizes. The biggest size that I offer costs about $2,000. So if you're a high roller and that's the kind of thing you want for your bachelor pad or your upscale Manhattan penthouse, that's the way to go. But the photographic prints look very nice, and you can buy your own frames. I try to supply them in all of the all of the sizes that you can get frames for at, someplace like Michael's, Walmart, Target, any place that sells frames. So that's a much more economical solution for getting some nice wall art for your pad. So right now, I got it launched. You might see products under the video if you scroll down a little bit today. Like if you're digging into the comments section, you might see some photography there. A lot of difficulty in terms of linking the YouTube store to these shops, even though it's supposed to be seamless. And it's starting to rain on me here, but it's kind of... It looks like it's just going to pass and sprinkle on me a little bit, so I'm just going to keep going with the video. It actually feels kind of nice. If a downpour comes, I'll just hit stop and go somewhere else. So yeah, there's some issues with, it's just garbage software that's rushed out the door before it's ready. I really can't control things like, I'm a nitpicky perfectionist, so when you see the product photos here on YouTube, you'll notice that the thumbnails are square. The space that YouTube puts the image thumbnails in are square. Yet, it's pulling the photos from the product, from the shop website, which are rectangular, either vertical or horizontal. They don't fill the square properly. And so that is a nitpicky thing that I don't like, and there's probably a way to fix it, but it's kind of janky, and everything's just kind of a workaround at this point. But it's there. Let go of perfection and just let it be. So you can actually buy... What it does, from what I've seen, is you can see some photographs under the video. I think I can attach them to parts of the video. Like now, if I'm talking about a photograph in a video, I can pull the image up and plop it in the video, and then you can click on that and go straight to the shop. I'm not getting into all that right now. There's a shopping tab on the YouTube channel, and it just has the same 5 images that are on the Etsy store. All the products are the same, but what happens when you click on one of the thumbnails, it should take you to the shop. And then once you're at the shop, there's a drop-down menu that allows you to choose the size, the print type, and the price that you want to pay. Because all the different sizes, I'm charging based on what it costs me to print and ship. So, check it out. You can go straight to the shop at shop.litgood.com, which is on Etsy. But if you click on these products on the YouTube shop, it'll take you to a different store. But the prices are all the same. The selection's all the same. The shipping costs the same. Everything's the same. So whichever one that you want to buy from, it's fine. Let's see. Yeah, and just like we'll jump into the other stuff here. Like I told you guys yesterday, if you go back and look at yesterday's video, you'll notice that YouTube shoved a big COVID-19 misinformation warning under my video, basically telling you that, this guy is giving you misinformation. Click here to learn how wonderful the vaccines are and all that kind of nonsense. So that's the second time YouTube has shoved one of those under one of my videos, and which basically means it's just a matter of time before they say, you know what, no monetization, no subscribers, we're going to shadow ban you, we're going to ban you from the platform. And a couple of you idiot trolls, you turned around and said, well, you don't have a right to be on YouTube. Yeah, but you do have a right to free speech. And, as long as it doesn't cross the line into threatening violence against others, you do have a right to say what you want. And when these platforms have a monopoly, you should have a right to say what you want. And these platforms, they do have a monopoly, just like the oil barons back in the day when the Standard Oil Company used to have a full monopoly on the oil business, and the government broke them up into smaller companies, just like Ma Bell had the ill communication and had the lockdown on communications, they had to be split up into multiple phone companies. So these companies, like, let's talk about YouTube for a minute, because back when YouTube started, internet video is extremely expensive to host videos, to serve videos to people. The technology was there. You didn't need YouTube to do it. You could embed videos directly on any website that you built. But the file sizes for videos are large. And most web hosting companies and most companies like that enforce bandwidth limits. So that was the big bottleneck with internet video becoming popular back in the day. And if you're an oligarch, if you're in the Club of Rome, a Bilderberg, if you're one of the Skull and Bones, if you're in that elite echelon of society, you realize that internet video is the dam. Like, when the dam breaks for information to be served out to the public and for people to have true freedom of speech and to truly be able to call these people out for what they're doing to us, video is where it's at. People are going to watch videos a hell of a lot more than they're going to sit and read and, listen to podcasts and stuff like that. So they really tried to make it difficult for video to flourish on the internet when it first started. And I'll give you a small example. I was working on a project for a corporation where I had to host a live video feed. And so this was like a 1 hour live video feed. It had to support 4,000 simultaneous viewers. And for me to be able to do that, I had to front to this video hosting company something like $10,000 just so that we could do this live video feed and have the ability for 4,000 simultaneous viewers or more. But there were going to be at least 4,000 people watching this thing that the bank was putting out. And this was a freelance job for me, so I had to front 10 grand and then get paid back by the client when I invoiced them. And that was just for a 1 hour live video, $10,000. Companies back in the day, media companies, their web hosting, in order to host videos, in order to allow people to watch videos on your website, if you're a website that's getting hundreds of thousands of viewers a month or millions of viewers a month, your web hosting bill was going to be tens of thousands of dollars, if not six figures per month to host video. And this was how it was across the board when internet video started. Expensive. But along comes this company, YouTube, and all of a sudden, what used to cost you $10,000 a month, $50,000 a month, $150,000 a month, now this company, this fly-by-night company shows up, and all of a sudden you can just host videos for free, and it doesn't cost you anything, and millions of people can come watch your videos, and it costs you zero. And the YouTube had the capacity to get started, provide this service to the entire world for years. And then, of course, Google bought them. But they had the ability to offer this service that would cost you $10, $20, $50, $100,000 a month for free. Offer it to the entire world for years before they ever started doing anything like advertising or doing anything to make it profitable. Think about that. Where did the money come from? Where did the resources come from that allowed this 2-bit company to just show up on the scene and provide a service to you? It's costing them money to do it. That was a massive amount of resources and money that it would cost to start a company like YouTube back in the day, just to offer the entire world a free place to host your video content. And this just came out of nowhere. And so, rightfully so, of course it became the one-stop shop for people to post video content, because there was no other option. And so now they've got such a foothold, they've got such a stranglehold on that market that because they got such a head start. And I'm going to say, a lot of these social media companies were funded by DARPA. Facebook, Google itself, the search engine market, a lot of these companies that have a stranglehold on society right now were funded by the government, by the military even. And there's a reason why these companies got such a long head start, and they were able to operate for years, up to a decade, without making a single dollar in profit. And then they got themselves entrenched and established to the point where nobody can make a competitor. Rumble is the closest competitor to YouTube, and it's a piece of shit. It's a piece of garbage. There's nobody on the platform. They're struggling just to maintain a basic user interface. It's buggy. It's garbage. They can't handle the capacity of users that they have, which is like 1/1,000,000th of what YouTube has. I have a Rumble channel right now. All the same videos are up there. I have 8 followers. The only comments that I get on a Rumble video are spam comments. It'll be some spammer. It's always the same comment. It's always some spam bot, and it says, "I just stumbled upon your channel, blah, 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 blah. I would like to help you grow your audience. Just email me at some email address and pay me this much money, and I'll guarantee you a certain number of views on your video." And it's just one after the next, after the next, after the next. So I've got 8 followers on Rumble. Probably 7 of them are bots. And nobody's paying any attention. And the only content that Rumble even promotes on their platform are right-wing grifters who got kicked off of YouTube and got kicked off of other platforms. So they go to Rumble, and Rumble probably works out some sort of deal with those people, some sort of exclusive deal. If you bring your show and your audience here, we'll promote the shit out of it. We'll pay you a certain amount of money, and we'll put your content all over the homepage and all over everybody's feed so that you get all the traffic that we can deliver to you. But if you're a new creator, if you're someone who just started on the platform, you're going to sit there posting videos for 5 years and you're going to get 200 views. You're going to get 3 followers, because there's, one thing YouTube does that I'll give them credit for is that they promote new followers. They promote new creators. And they realized that in order to keep their platform viable, they have to give people an incentive to come and actually try it out and produce stuff. And so the YouTube algorithm is set up in such a way that if you're a new creator and a few people watch your video and like it, then more people will be shown the video. And the more people that see it and like it, the more the algorithm passes it around. So somebody who starts from zero followers, 0 content, 0 anything on YouTube, it's one of the only social media platforms right now where you can actually grow an audience without bringing an audience to it. Facebook doesn't work that way anymore. Instagram doesn't work that way. All the other social media apps out there, you're dead in the water. If you don't have any followers to begin with, you're never going to get a follower, because those platforms hide you. They don't necessarily ban you or even shadow ban you. What they do is they just keep you in the closet and they don't show your content to anybody. And if nobody ever sees anything you're posting, no one's ever going to know you're there. So the only way that you can build a following on those platforms is to bring people to it from outside. You have to be the man on the street, literally telling people, hey, go see my Facebook. Hey, go see my Instagram. Hey, go see this. But right now, YouTube, for me, is the only channel of being able to get my voice out there where people can actually see what I'm doing and what I'm saying. And, I could post 500 more images to Instagram and I'll have 6 followers at the end of 6 months. So because there's no way for people to know it's there. The Instagram used to not be like that back in the day, but after Facebook bought the company, they ran it into the ground. Instagram used to show your content to strangers, and then strangers would have the option to come and if they like what they see, they'll come check out your feed and become a follower. And so you could build up hundreds, if not thousands of followers just by posting good content and, putting the right hashtags and stuff like that. Strangers would end up seeing it. But now it's locked. It's, nobody's seeing your stuff. Tell me I'm wrong, but I think, these platforms are all dying. And they're dying because of the fact that the only way that you can get a following on these platforms is if you're a celebrity and you have tons of fans and they just know that you're on Instagram, or, you're walking around in a thong with your titties hanging out. And, and you just got a bunch of perverted guys following you for the next thong picture. But that's pretty much it. Let's see. So with cancel culture and talking about that, one of the things I'm going to ask you to do as the audience of this show, if they shut off YouTube, that's it for me right now, because I've got nowhere else to get my content out there. So, it'll happen one of these days, because I'm not going to keep my mouth shut just because the censorship gurus want to, shut me down. So what I would say is, sign up for my email list, because, yes, I would be able to spam you, but, I highly doubt I'm going to take the time to send you an email more than 4 times in the span of a year. I don't have time. I might make an announcement here and there, or provide a link to various things. If I add 10, 20 new photos to my photo store, maybe I'll send out an email with a discount code or something like that. But yeah, I'm going to start getting a little more regular with the plugs, get a little more organized about that, moving forward with this channel. But for now, if you want to keep in touch, you want to find out what's going on, sign up for the email list. You can go to my website at litgood.com and just scroll down a little bit past the homepage banner. There's a link for downloading free wallpaper images. So what's going to happen is you're going to sign up for the email list. You're going to get an email right back that has a link to click on. No passwords, no nonsense. It's just going to take you directly to a page where you can download wallpaper images for pretty much any device that you own. I have them sized for just about any screen or device that's in existence right now. And there's, I would say, 6 to 10 photos, maybe more. I don't remember, but there's a bunch of photos up there that are sized, all different sizes. There are labels under each different size to tell you, what device this is compatible with, whether it's an iPad, whether it's an Android device, or whether it's a desktop computer. And if I add more wallpaper images to that link, maybe I'll send you all an email. But right now, it's, signing up for the email list, you'll be the first to know when YouTube kicks me off the platform and it's time to go over to Rumble to watch all the videos, because, sign up for it. You'll be able to keep up with what's happening. And, the reason why people are trying so hard to build these email lists is because in the world that we live in, with the tech companies censoring everybody, email is typically the last thing that the man can go and shut down on us. With all these platforms are controlled, they can shut you off in the blink of an eye. There's no human to talk to. There's no person to work it out with. The company turns you off, and that's that. You're done. Having email lists, it's kind of like having a CB radio or a ham radio when they shut off everybody's cell phones and try to block everybody from communicating. They can't run around and shut everyone down who's carrying a CB or a walkie-talkie or a ham radio. They can't shut that down. They can shut down the phones. There's 4 companies that control your cell phones. If they wanted to turn them all off tomorrow, they can. Flip of a switch. But they can't stop you from broadcasting over the airwaves with a handheld radio. So think of an email list as the equivalent of that. They really can't shut me down. They could Gmail or Proton Mail or whatever other, I've got 4 other email accounts on different platforms. They could all shut off my email account And guess what? I can create a new email account in about 5 minutes, and I can email everybody on that mailing list because the mailing list is in my possession. So if you want to keep up with what's going on, and you really like, if you want to find out what happens if I disappear from YouTube or some other platform or whatever, sign up for the email list. And I would suggest not just me, but anybody that you like, anybody that you puts out content that you're a fan of, definitely sign up for their email lists. Set a thing to send this. Some people send out too much spam. I sign up for someone's mailing list, and if they're sending me 3 emails a day, I'm like, all right, we're done. I can't do it. But my email list is more for me to reach out to you maybe a few times a year, and also just as a way of keeping in touch with all of you should the man decide, you know what, we don't want him talking anymore. So that was a long time to talk about internet censorship, and here we are almost to the end of the show. I don't even know if I want to go tell the other stories that I have lined up because we're so deep in. We'll see what happens here. I'm going to keep going just for a few more minutes. And because a lot of you, well, there's not a lot of you, but there's a number of trolls in the comments who keep commenting that, oh, this guy is full of it. He's just a fake homeless guy trolling you guys, trying to get money out of you, etc., etc. And, fine. But say what you want. I don't care. I'm not deleting anybody's comments. I don't delete the trolls' comments. Sometimes YouTube makes them disappear, or I know my comments disappear from time to time. And I know that there's times where I get comments from you guys and I click on them and I come to respond and the comment's gone. So either somebody posted and then deleted their own comment, or YouTube deleted it. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not deleting any of them. I don't even delete the spam comments on Rumble. Even though I should delete those. But anyway, thinking about this whole passing the collection plate and all that, it reminds me of being accused of being a fake homeless guy on YouTube. So, once again, if you want to donate to the fake homeless guy on YouTube, it's donate.litgood.com. Once again, I don't even feel bad about having that up there because, like I said in the show yesterday, there's a guy's channel who I watch. The guy drives around in a $250,000 McLaren, and he has a donate link on his page, on his YouTube channel. So, if that guy's doing it, then why not? Why not? I don't really know exactly how to go about proving to you that I'm homeless. I don't need, does it count that I have a bedroom in a homeless shelter? Does that count as being homeless? Because I still don't really have a home. And I still have a lot of rules to follow. And, I don't know. Call me a fake homeless if you want. I don't care. I know I'm not living out in the woods right now. I could. I'm equipped for it. But, I made my choices for reasons that make sense. But, I love it when the trolls keep coming back to the channel because you're still helping me move this thing forward. But yeah, definitely be careful who you support. I could be some grifter who lives in a nice upscale home in a gated community, driving around in my Benz after getting done shaking you all down for donations all day. Once again, you can leave those at donate.litgood.com, or you can buy my photography at shop.litgood.com. But yeah, maybe I get in my Benz after I'm done with the video and go home and soak in my jacuzzi tub, watching all that money come rolling in. Yeah. But, when I lived in Pittsburgh, I want to talk about a couple of things. There were definitely some fake homeless people. And I've got 4 quick stories that I can share about the topic. There was this one guy when I first lived in Pittsburgh. There was an intersection outside of the Liberty Tunnel, which is south of the city, And there used to be, back in those days, there used to be a massive traffic jam every morning during rush hour right in front of the Liberty Tunnel. And there was a guy who would sit there. Now, these homeless people, they claim their territory, and they will get into some pretty bad fights. If you can't just show up on someone else's corner with a cup or a bucket looking for money handouts, because the other people who claim that corner are going to fight you for it. But this guy, he was there every day, and you're talking tens of thousands of people driving by this intersection daily. So the guy had the potential to be making some money. Well, the news media decided to do a sting operation, and they went undercover and they started filming this guy. And at the end of rush hour, they followed him, and he basically walked down the road to a parking lot when he was done panhandling in the morning, climbed up into a $60,000 pickup truck and drove away. And they got him on the news. And I think they chased him down, and they identified him, and they tried, no comment. And he ran away all embarrassed and everything because they called him out on the 6 o'clock news. So yeah, there's definitely some fake homeless people out there and this guy was probably making some serious money. I mean, he was driving around in a $60,000 pickup truck. And this was back in the mid-1990s. This wasn't like 2024. A $60,000 pickup truck then's probably the equivalent of $100,000 pickup truck today. So anyway, I went to art school, and there was a industrial design technology program at the art school that I was at. And some of these kids, they made an animatronic bum. They made a homeless guy in a wheelchair. It was a robot. It was an animatronic thing, like when you go to Chuck E. Cheese and the band is up on stage playing, and they're all like, doing their robot dance and stuff like that. So this animatronic bum that they made had a cup in his hand. They had a remote control, so he could turn his head from side to side. He could shake his cup, and he could do a couple of other basic movements, and they could control him with a remote control. And he was in a wheelchair. And so these kids at the art school would wheel this guy around town, and they'd set him up somewhere, and then they'd go across the street with the remote control and have him shaking his cup and stuff like that. And crowds of people would be walking by, dropping money into the cup, and they were making money off of this guy. And so once again, the news media picks up on this. Somebody calls into Channel 11 News, and they're down there with their cameras and stuff, and they filmed it, and they put these guys all over the 6 o'clock news. But it was more of a funny news story, and they interviewed the guys at school that did it, and they were proud of it, and they thought it was hilarious. Though, I mean, everybody who saw the news report thought it was hysterical. But these guys were basically making their beer money for the weekend by having this fake robot homeless guy sit in front of different places downtown shaking a cup and turning its head and stuff, and people were just walking by giving it money. They thought it was a real guy. So there you go. There's another way that, you got to be careful who you give your money to these days. And I mean, I used to work at Kinko's, which was right across the street from the Art Institute that I went to. And it was also right across the street from this theater called Heinz Hall in downtown Pittsburgh. It's where the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra plays. It's a really nice, like, Richie Rich kind of music theater and performance concert hall. And so I used to work at Kinko's, and I would be working there during symphony performances. So you've got all these rich people pulling up with their limousines, and you've got crowds of people walking by them. And once again, there's homeless people fighting over that street corner. And whoever won that battle, the homeless guy sitting on the street corner, I would sit there and watch out the window of Kinko's, watch people walking by, putting money in this guy's cup. And this guy was making so much money that he would have to open up his coat, and he must have had a hidden pocket or something inside of his coat, because he would occasionally, he'd take the change cup and dump it into the inside of his coat and then put it, like he might leave a little bit of change in the cup. But he didn't want the cup to look like it was overflowing or full. He wanted the cup to always look empty, so that when people are walking by, they're like, oh, he needs a break. He needs help. And I swear to God, we were estimating how much this guy was probably making in the 3 or 4 hours that he sat out there, covering both the beginning and the end of each show. He was making like $500 in an afternoon, no problem. And once again, this is the mid-1990s, and I'm sitting there, I'm making minimum wage, which at the time was $4.25 an hour. This guy's making more in 3 hours shaking a cup, sitting outside of Heinz Hall, in 3 hours in a Saturday afternoon even, than I would make in an entire week working at this job 40 hours a week. So I'm sitting there thinking, what the hell am I doing working when I could be out there living the dream like this guy? So yeah, I mean, there is, if you're in the right spot, if you're in the right place, you can take a cardboard sign and a cup and you can live the dream. Believe me, I've seen it. It's been shown that it's possible. You know, I don't know. I just can't bring myself to do something that crazy. But back in the day, my friends and I, and a group of us, we did used to go and have drum circles in downtown Pittsburgh. There used to be these concerts that they would have on Friday nights. There's a main area of downtown Pittsburgh called Market Square, and there's a little stage, and there's it's basically like a public square, and they have events down there, and they would have bands on Friday and Saturday nights and things like that, little festivals and things like that. So we would come down with a bunch of drums. I would bring, like, I had my daughter was like 3 years old, and I'd bring her little Fisher-Price xylophone and a couple of the plastic mallets or whatever I had. People would bring beer bottles and fill them with different levels of water and make some sort of thing out of that. And we would sit there and have a drum circle in the square next to the public square where the concerts were going on. It's called PPG Place. And we'd have like maybe 20 of us sitting there banging on drums and dung 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 on the beer bottles and the little Tykes xylophone and all that. And we were just having a good time. We were just jamming. But somebody would leave an instrument case laying open, and people would walk by us. They might sit and listen. They might join in for a minute. But people would throw a couple bucks, $5, $10, drop a bunch of change in the instrument case. And at the end of the night, we'd have like $50, $60 sitting there. And we'd go down to the beer distributor and get all the cases of Beast Ice for $5 a case that we could get and go back and party at the end of the night. And so, you know, basically, but nobody thought we were homeless. Nobody thought they were donating to a bunch of fake homeless kids. We're just a bunch of punk-ass kids playing on drums in a square with an instrument case open, looking for beer money. I mean, like they knew what they were donating to when they dropped money in the case. So, yeah, we did that. We did that more than once. In fact, the promoters, I guess I don't know if I was there for the final night of the series this one summer when we were doing this, but the promoters of the concert series in Market Square came over and said, hey man, we appreciate you guys being here every week and, contributing to the festive atmosphere or whatever. Dude dropped like $50, $60 in the instrument case and on top of whatever everybody else had thrown in there. So even they were cool with it. But yeah, I mean, you'd walk around downtown Pittsburgh. There was a guy who used to play. He'd sit out in front of, he'd just pick a random street corner and start playing the saxophone with an open instrument case or something like that. Or you see street performers everywhere you go. In Las Vegas, they're everywhere. And they always got a bucket out collecting money. The human statue guy and different street performers and things like that. But at least, these guys are putting on a show. And But yeah, I mean, you accused me of being a fake. Some of you accused me of being a fake homeless guy, which, I don't know how to prove it, that I'm not. But, whatever. And, as a warning to you, there are fake homeless people out there. There are people out there panhandling right now wearing grubby clothes that they haven't washed in 6 months, dirt all over their face, all disheveled. And at the end of the day, they're taking the $500-600 that they made during rush hour, getting in a $60,000 pickup truck and driving home. So, keep that in mind. It does happen, and it's a real thing. And I'm sure that you could Google some of the stuff I'm talking about and find it yourself. These were, it was a long time ago, and I'm sure, this was before internet video when Channel 11 was doing those exposés. But, sometimes little gems from the past find their way to modern times on the internet. And with that, I'm just going to check out the time. Oh yeah, we're at like 40 minutes now. So there's a couple of, story times over, folks. Hopefully you guys got something out of this that was useful. I don't know if there was anything useful in today's video, but I know some of you just enjoy watching, and I know some of you trolls enjoy seeing the train wreck, but you keep coming back and you keep adding to the view counter, and the algorithm sees that, and the algorithm brings more people to the channel, and it's all good. So with that said, I'm going to let you go, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Peace out.